my name's Iain Harper and welcome to Bucket List Hills. This is a new series where we explore routes that are slightly off the beaten track but absolutely should be on your walking bucket list. Today we journey deep into Lochaber, a land dominated by giant mountains that rear up from the sea, where jagged peaks pierce the sky and shadowed glens guard ancient secrets. Near the famous arches of the Glenfinnan Viaduct, amidst Munros famed for their grandeur, stands a mountain that punches far above its weight. It's a peak that proves height isn't everything, offering an adventure as thrilling and demanding as any of its loftier neighbours. Meet Streep. Its name, fittingly, is Scottish Gaelic for climb. This magnificent Corbett rises to 909 metres, or 2,982 feet, just shy of the magic Munro threshold of 3,000 feet. It carves a dramatic line in the sky, a long, sharp ridge separating Glenfinnan to the west from Glen Dublee to the east. Characterised by steep, angular flanks and a distinctive twin-summited ridge, Streep itself and its close neighbour Streep Comlie present a formidable, almost challenging profile from the glens below. But don't let that Corbett classification mislead you. Streep absolutely demands respect. The standard route gives a more strenuous day than a glance at the map might suggest, and this is a sentiment echoed by many who've tackled its slopes. This is a Munro experience in all but name, a serious undertaking that rewards considerable effort with unparalleled exhilaration and views. The challenge is undeniable. This isn't a casual afternoon stroll. All routes are long, involving significant ascent over often rough, pathless terrain. The climbs are relentless, testing stamina and resolve, and the descents, notoriously steep, grassy affairs, frequently described by walkers as knee-janglers, a punishing finale to an already strenuous day. So fitness, navigation skills and mountain sense are all prerequisites here. And the reward for navigating this challenging terrain? Quite simply, the views are spectacular. From the ridge and summit, the panorama unfolds across Lochaber and beyond. Look down the length of Loch Shiel to the sea. Gaze across to the rugged peaks of Knoydart and Ard Gore. Identify the neighbouring Glenfinnan Munros, Sgurthwyn and Skirnancreachian. Spot the bulky form of Gulvain to the east. And on clear days, even pick out the distant giants of the Ben Nevis range and the Memores. It's a breathtaking spectacle, hard-earned and unforgettable. The most frequently climbed route ascends Streep via Glen Dublee, tackling the mountain's extensive ridge system in a demanding but logical anti-clockwise circuit. Your starting point is the Craigag car park, clearly signed off the north side of the A830 Fort William to Mallaig road to the Isles, just west of the bridge spanning the Dublee River. If you're relying on public transport, buses run along the A830, and you also have Glenfinnan Station with rail links to Fort William, about 2 kilometres away. The walk-in begins by heading down the car park track briefly east along the road towards the bridge, then turning sharp left onto a private estate track, heading north into Glen Dublee. This track follows the west bank of the Dublee River for the first 3 kilometres. It's a pleasant introduction, the river tumbling through a series of attractive waterfalls. You'll soon reach a junction. Here turn right, descending slightly to cross a substantial bridge over the river. Once across, the track swings left and climbs gently to the Dublee Bothy. This simple stone cottage is a welcome landmark maintained by dedicated volunteers from the Mountain Bothies Association. It holds its own history, having been painstakingly rebuilt by the MBA after being accidentally destroyed by fire in 2011. Project completed in memory of climber Nicholas Randall. Continue past the Bothy along the track for another kilometre, passing through a gate as you leave the forestry plantation behind. Here the glen truly opens up, revealing a stunning and perhaps slightly intimidating view of Streep's ridges ahead. The track deteriorates, becoming rougher underfoot. Keep following it until it crosses the burn via another bridge that's not marked on all Ordnance Survey maps. Now the ascent proper begins. Cross this second bridge and immediately turn west, leaving the track to head directly up the steepening hillside. There's no clear path here, and the terrain is rough, tussocky grass, demanding concentration and effort from the outset. Bracken can be thick in summer, but aiming just to the right of a descending stream can help minimize wading through it. This is a relentless, pathless climb. It's best to bypass the head of Khor Atum by tackling a steep grassy ridge, heading generally northwest on a pretty severe gradient. Eventually, after what feels like a significant effort, the slope angle eases slightly and the route swings westwards to finally gain the main southwest ridge of Streep, near the 844-metre summit of Mial and Ucht Choil. And you're going to have to forgive my Scottish Gaelic pronunciations here. I'm doing my best, but I know they're probably not that close. Take a moment here. The hardest single ascent section is now behind you, and the magnificent ridge walk lies ahead. You are now poised for the traverse. Follow the grand undulating ridge crest heading northeast. The terrain is rocky and complex in places as you descend towards the Bealach Quan and Cirque. Any minor rocky outcrops or difficulties on the crest can usually be bypassed on easier ground. From the Bealach, brace yourself for another steep pull up, this time up the conical peak of Stob Quan and Cirque, reaching its 887-metre summit. From this vantage point, Streep's true summit is finally revealed, assuming you're not in cloud, looking sharp and distinct across the next intervening dip. Descend to the Bealach that separates Stob Quan and Cirque from Streep. It's here the ridge undergoes its final dramatic transformation, narrowing into that celebrated fine grassy arête for the final exhilarating ascent. Do savour this section. The exposure increases and the steep drops on either side heighten the senses. The rock step, which looked problematic from afar, there's actually a clear path that bypasses it and can be climbed without difficulty. Continue along the narrow crest, placing your feet carefully till you reach the small, neat cairn marking the summit of Streep at 909 metres. But the day's efforts aren't quite complete. From Streep's summit, the route continues descending steeply southeast along another fine grassy ridge section towards a Bealach at roughly 818 metres. From here, make the final short steep climb, possibly following a faint path, onto the summit plateau of Streep Comlai, topping out at 898 metres. And now for the descent. From Streep Comlai, resist the urge to follow the continuing ridge northeast. Instead, turn south, following the broad grassy ridge downhill. Prepare your knees for the infamous Streep knee jerker. This is a long, unrelenting and very steep descent down grassy slopes, dropping almost 500 metres back towards Glyn Dublee. Take it steady, especially in wet conditions when the grass can be slippery. Aim slightly west of south, avoiding rocky ground generally found on the eastern flank of the ridge. Once you're finally down on the gentler slopes of the glen floor, pick up the all-terrain track beside the river, but be warned it can be very boggy in places. Follow this track downstream, eventually crossing the Alt Kwa Churn and rejoining your outward route near a ruined Shieling. Cross the main river bridge here and retrace your steps along the familiar estate track through the forest plantation back to the car park. Whilst the Glen Dublee circuit is the most popular way to climb Streep, alternatives do exist. One notable option starts from Glenfinnan. This approach typically involves walking or cycling up Glenfinnan on the estate track towards the Corryhully Bothy. Walkers can tackle the very steep slopes, rising towards the Bealach Achate, gaining Streep's southwest ridge from a different direction. Alternatively, routes might head further up Glenfinnan and loop back via Glenkiernan to ascend Streep Comlai first. Streep stands in close proximity to the well-trodden Glenfinnan Munros of Sgurr Thulim and Sgurr Nancreachin, whose summits are often visible from Streep's ridge. However, unlike some Corbett-Munro combinations elsewhere, Streep is almost invariably tackled as a standalone objective. Its inherent ruggedness, the significant effort involved in its ascent, and the quality of its own ridge traverse mean it commands its own dedicated day. Linking it with the neighbouring Munros would be an exceptionally demanding undertaking, reserved only for the very fittest and fastest hill walkers. So that's Streep, a true giant among Corbetts, nestled in the rugged heart of Lochaber. Standing just metres short of Munro height, delivers an experience that matches, and some might argue surpasses, many of its taller neighbours in terms of sheer challenge and exhilaration. For experienced hill walkers seeking a demanding, high-quality adventure featuring one of Scotland's most rewarding Corbett ridges, Streep is an unmissable objective. It embodies the spirit of Scottish mountains, challenging, wild, and breathtakingly beautiful. So thanks for watching. If you have a second to like and subscribe, it would be very much appreciated, as it really helps the channel. And if you've walked this excellent hill or want to suggest another bucket list hill for me to cover in the future, please let me know in the comments. So until next time, happy hiking and sláinte.